All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to No Good News Thursdays edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you to be a better trader than the traders at JP Morgan.
JP Morgan, New York Times reporting that the losses from the whale trade might be now $9 billion, so way more than everybody speculated. They were talking last week that the trade position.
Wait. Not way more than everyone speculated.
You were
Okay.
speculating more, Joel. You
Okay.
think it's
Yeah.
going under
Okay.
now.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Continue.
No, I was just going to say last week they were saying that potentially JP Morgan's already out a half of the position and it's going to be basically okay. Well, 9 billion doesn't sound very good to me here. We've had a heck of a run up from those lows over the last 1, 2, 3, say last month since we bottomed at that $30, $83 level, which I wanted to buy. I'll keep rubbing that in Joel's face. But anyways, 35.55 is where it's trading at right now. It's down $1.30 on this new report. Obviously, the position, they're not managing it very well.
Yeah, well, a couple things here. I mean, everyone was so enamored with Jamie Dimon's testimony in front of the Congress and the Senate, and to me, he came off extremely arrogant. Okay, he tried to make it look like, hey, it's no big deal. We got things under control. And it just, everyone was so enamored with it, and I really couldn't put my finger on it, but he was arrogant about the position.
Yep.
And now here's a good trading lesson, because this is what they did. They had a position on, okay, and they reversed, okay? And then that didn't work out, and then they reversed again. So they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're going to lose $20 billion on this.
Well, the losses are growing every day. I think, though, I don't know how Jamie Dimon really. I'm on the other side here. I think Jamie Dimon did do a good job with it. Yes, arrogance, but what are you going to come out and say? Oh, we're in a position here where we can't manage it very well. It's so big, obviously, and illiquid that we can't even liquidate the thing. He's got to come on, basically saying we've got it under control. We had $7 billion worth of trading gains to offset it, so it's going to be just fine. Well, now those $7 billion of trading gains obviously are gone, so it looks like the quarter probably is going to be a losing quarter if JP Morgan can even liquidate the position. But you know what happens, Joel, when and think about when you place an order out here in the market and the high frequency traders jump on your order and they try to make you pay as much as you can. You can be pretty certain there's some major high frequency firms that have figured out this position and they are pressing this position, and they're going to press it as far and make JP Morgan pay as much as they possibly can to get out of this position.
Yep, but also other houses too. I mean, there are hedge funds, whoever has it on. That's something we talked about originally. But let's get to the numbers on J.P. Morgan. I'm surprised it's only down $1.28. I just, but as we can note here, it did trade down to 34.50 in the pre-market, getting a dollar bounce here. You did have a low a couple days ago at 34.64, so I'd keep an eye on that entire area, 30.50 to 30.64. Now that we are bouncing, running in the resistance here at 35.60, and then of course you got the major resistance at the high of the moves right around the $37 level. But boy, that's not the only bank that's stinking up the joint.
No, we got Barclays stinking up the joint here too. This is a story that broke yesterday afternoon that Barclays was manipulating LIBOR, the London Interbank Offering Rate.
No big deal.
No big deal. Just more manipulation from banks here. Market surprisingly didn't kill Barclays on the initial report, but this morning, British Prime Minister Dave Cameron giving Barclays some major heat for this, saying we have serious questions for Barclays on this. So they are coming under major heat here this morning. Stock is trading down very significantly. It actually is bouncing a bit from where it was just trading. Joel will find the pre-market low there for you. But we are breaching the June lows here. 1064 is where we got down to back at the beginning of June. We have been trading lower than that. We are trading above it now at 1079. Stock closed at 1233, so this thing is going to get rocked here today. It's a matter of can it hold that June low, or is it going to open below that?
We did hit 1006 in the pre.
1006.
Yep,
Wow.
yep. and that coincides with some lows that we had back at the end of last year, I believe. In December 19th, we hit a low at 10.10. So that whole area is going to be major support to $10 level. Below that, you have some lows back in November at 9.53, 9.20. I don't know if I where I could tell you to short it at, but I mean this thing is in a host of trouble. We could even be looking to take this stock under $9. The low of the move has been 8.38 from back in September. But boy, just all these things going on, and the spoos are only down 750. That's I don't know. Is it a gift here on the on the open here to short it? I mean, how can the market go up today?
I don't know, but the market does funny things. Like it's so controlled by high frequency trading now that if it starts rocking and rolling and starts squeezing a few people that have put on short positions, wouldn't surprise me. So nothing surprised me with this market. Fundamentally speaking, this is terrible news here. I think longer term the market is going lower here. Just too much bad news here all the time. It's always these banks coming out. They always have more bad news. I mean, the banks are still your driver for the overall economy. If they're having trouble, if they're doing bad things, they're doing manipulating and stuff. They're not lending, which is what they're really supposed to be doing, and helping the economy to grow. And if the banks aren't lending, corporations aren't going to have good earnings going forward when they can't borrow. So I don't know. But when you're manipulating LIBOR and doing all these funny games and stuff, I just don't want any piece of this. I think if you're trying to pick a bottom on something like this, I think you could get hurt. Sure, you could get lucky, maybe get right, maybe you do pick the bottom. Somebody got lucky picking 10.07 here in the pre-market. It's bounced 80 cents. But man, so many unknowns here. Really hard to trade something like this.
Okay, I'm take a look at a chart of Goldman Sachs here. I mean, tell them that the market's rallied off the 2008 lows, and you get a different picture here. This thing could be approaching some major support. We had a 90.43 low that coincides with some lows that we had back at the beginning of the month. Still $2 away from there, but man, Goldman just can't catch a bid.
Joel, this is it caught a little bit of a bid there yesterday. It started to break out above, but now with all this bad news on the banks, you wonder if we're going to retest these lows here. The low from 2 days ago was 90.43. It's at 92.29 right now, not down too bad on 600 shares. The U.S. banks really aren't trading down that much here besides J.P. Morgan. But if you look at the other European banks, let's go back there for a second. Deutsche Bank, DB, trading down $2 on this Barclays news. RBS is trading down at 643 right now, which is down another dollar for a $7 stock. It's a monumental move down. We've basically taken out all support at 650. This thing could retest the whole lows that it's set to at 605. So these European banks are all flirting with 52-week lows here.
Yeah, major support at the 610 level here for the Royal Bank of Scotland. They're getting thrown into this whole mess as well. Looking at the pre-market activity, just one spotty trade down here at 643. But you do have that nice formation with all those lows at the beginning of June, 610, 610, and 612. So keep an eye on that level. Deutsche Bank with Angela Merkel making all those bold comments yesterday about never helping out. This thing just can't get out of the way of itself. Major support at 30. Well, there's a low at 33.29 in the pre-market. We are currently had a low below that level. We had a low at 33.16. Be keeping an eye on this whole $32 area. That was support back on November 25th, 32.29. But just a little consolidation here over the last couple weeks, and now this is breaking out of the bottom of the consolidation.
Yeah, keep an eye. There was the low of the move here on this one though, right at the beginning of June. June 1st was 33.33. trading right there right now at 33.30. So that's interesting. It's sometimes hard to do technical analysis though, because again, the lead stocks obviously over in Europe. This is just the ADR, which is tracking that price. You've got to consider, that the European exchange rate is different from where it was a month ago. You have to use all those factors. So technical analysis is always tricky on ADRs. I really usually don't trade them, but you definitely want to use these as indicators today because these European banks, if they really start rallying, it could press the market green. But if these things start to turn over and roll over again, then this market's going to be in a world of hurt. So you just watch J.P. Morgan today, watch these European banks, no matter what stock you're trading, because it's pretty good indicators.
Okay, back over to our land. Is there any manipulation going on by the dollar stores?
Well, it doesn't appear to be because FDO announced earnings. They weren't good. Stock is trading down $5 right now. Man, it seems like there's a lot of bad news all the time, but this market just kind of holds up. 69.13 is where it closes, trading 64.01 right now. Interesting enough, we had a 3, 4, 5 lows in this whole 64 area back in late May. Got down to as low as 63.83. So call this whole 64 area pretty major support. I don't know if it's going to hold. If it takes that out, it starts to open up again. So you want to be real careful. If you're picking a bottom, put a tight stop there. This thing starts trading 63.50. There is a lot of air below.
Yeah, just traded 63.74. That's the low. I mean, the way this is setting up, it kind of reminds me of Apple the other day, where it was sitting on support at 570, but you knew it was a good buy, but you knew it wasn't going to hold. It was just too close to the area, and they took a couple shots under it, even got into the 567. So unless you were using a huge stop, it would have been hard to stay in it. I think I would be if I was going to try and buy the stock today, I would let it just go down through the 64 area, and then if it caught a bid going back above 64, then maybe I would try and take a long, put a low at the open. This thing has had a monster run at the beginning of the year, coming from $54. Isn't this one? Isn't Kramer always Isn't this one of his stocks? That
I've seen him featured a few times on there. So
yeah, be interesting to see what he has to say about it here. But yeah, that $64 area, major support. If in fact it gets through that area. There was a bunch of lows in April at 62.99 and 62.98. So Dennis, this whole number theory. Play the whole numbers.
I don't know. I think I've seen this stock before though off earnings.
You saw this stock.
Yeah,
before.
You may as well correct my English. Keep correcting my English. I'm an idiot, but that's why I'm a trader, not an English major, Joel. Anyways, 60. I was just going to say back here, now you make me even lose my train of thought, but 63.04, I just think if you're trying to pick bombs in this thing, you could get hurt. I like your other play that you said, let it go down, let it make a bottom. If it comes back through that 64 area, maybe you try it for a long then, but I think there's going to be a shakeout through that support. It's just too close, and high frequency traders love to shake it through that support. So maybe let it go through. It may fall a buck or two through. If it comes back up to get to that area, then maybe you try to buy it going through that area again. That's kind of a better way and maybe a safer way to play it as opposed to just picking bottoms when the stock is going straight down. Dollar Tree DLTR is down in sympathy with this right now, trading down $1.20 in the pre-market. 53.48 is where it closed, trading down at 52.30 right now. A lot of air in this one too. You're going to be looking at it in this area. This whole $50 area is huge, but that's $2 away from here. But man, when you see Family Dollar fall $5-6, makes me think it's possible for this one to have a decent sympathy move there too. If it was to get to 50, I think you would find support. Not sure if it's got enough momentum to get there today though.
Yeah, looking at this, it's a pretty scary area here. You had it low on June 7th at 52.29. Currently trading right in that area. But if that doesn't hold, this thing's going to 50.88 in a heartbeat. There's just nothing underneath this 52.29 level. You had a low at 50.88, then 50.26, 49.63. This one that you don't want to be long if this thing can't hold this opening range here that is trading in the pre-market 52.29.
News Corp is announcing today that they are actually splitting up the company. So the rumor has
Really? I didn't know that.
the rumor has become news, and you know how it works: buy on rumors, sell on news. Stock is trading down 7 cents in the pre-market. Muted action here. I think this is an old story. Basically, now everybody knew that it was more than a rumor; that it was pretty much fact. Well, it is fact now. Remember, both the stocks NWS and NWSA trade together. Those are usually are pretty good with the high frequency traders, so it's hard to take advantage of the arbitrage there. High frequency traders kind of have that monopolized on you. But NWS is trading a little bit down here, 22.34. Joel, can it make a new high, or is the high in place there?
Look at this stock. 2285 was the high from yesterday. That looks to be a pretty good number. You did have a high back at 2214 that we took out. So I would keep an eye on that 2214. That was a high on December 31st of oh wow, this stock hasn't been up in this area since 2007. So if it comes back down through the 22 area, don't want to be long it. I just don't. These kind of things just kind of baffle me. I mean, you have a company; it's an entire company. So just because you split in two, how does it automatically increase the value?
Unlocking the value. Come
Well, what
on.
value? It's still the same company. It's still the same damn company.
Unlocking the value. That's what they'll say,
Oh, okay,
anyways.
okay. So, all right, unlocking the value. I like that term. Okay, what else? What else we got moving here?
Besides all the banks, that's pretty much your major market movers here. I think we should highlight some of the Big Ten, though. Apple Computer held the 570 yesterday, but man, with all this bad news, it's going to test it pretty good here. Pretty good again today. It's trading 571.62 in the pre-market. Still think it needs to hold this whole 569, 570 area. Don't want to see it fall below there. I thought if it got above 575, it might make a run for 580, but topped out just above 576 and then drifted back down. So this 576 is starting to become formidable resistance up there. Really, for an hour and a half there yesterday, but topped out there 3 or 4 times.
This is crazy
It
consolidation.
is.
I don't know what to say about this. When I do my numbers on Apple, usually I say, oh, I better give it 10, 15 points on the upside, 10, 15 points on the downside.
Yeah,
I
tighten those
ended up,
numbers.
yeah, I'm just like, I don't even. I mean, why put a number within a point within Apple? I mean, it moves 2 points in a minute, but keep an eye on yesterday's high, 576.74. We're quite a ways away from that. Wednesday's low at 571.92. We're currently trading below that. That would be a good swing level. I think you get a couple closes under 570 in this thing, and it has a chance to go down. But this consolidation is just unbelievable. I just wanted to point out interesting formation here in IBM. It looks like there must be a seller here at 194. You had three tops in the 193 area. 193.39 and 193.68, 193.70. So there's an area of major resistance. Almost identical ranges yesterday. The lows were very close to each other. So watch out for a move either way. You got any feel on IBM today?
This is a tricky one too. I think he gave a pretty good range there. I mean, if you look at the chart here, though, it's kind of this whole foreboding head and shoulders thing kind of going on. You can see the left shoulder right here, the head here up to the 200 area. Now this whole 195 area, 193.70, so you're talking about forming a right shoulder. Scary looking pattern. I'm not a big pattern trader, but that one kind of jumps out at me. If this thing started taking out and making new lows through 190, I'd be real nervous. But here's some more breaking news again. Osborne just saying that, well, and I think this is obviously already speculated, UBS, RBS, and Citigroup also being investigated in the LIBOR case. So that's why RBS is trading down so much here in the pre-market. UBS is trading down just 30 cents. And let's just talk about Citigroup because they just got a nice mention in there too. Not so nice, I guess, if you're the company. 26.42 it's trading at right now after closing at 27.10. So Citigroup is going to be breaking down here as well. You had three lows here on Citigroup, interesting formation. 26.50, 26.57, and then 26.50. So we open up below that 26.50, stock could be in trouble. If it can hold there, maybe it gets an initial bounce, but I'm scared to buy banks today.
Also, going back at the beginning of the month, you had three lows at 26, 36,
Oh yeah,
43, and
yeah.
42. So that's major support there. If not, we'll get a look at the $26 level. You had a low at 26.01 on June 6th. But I have a question for you. If these banks are doing like all this market manipulation on LIBOR rates and stuff, I mean, and they're still not making money, their charge still there. Just think if they weren't doing the manipulation,
Yeah.
how crappy these things would look.
Yeah, that's that's just a great point. I mean, when you're doing crooked stuff and you're not making money, and now the government's going to come and stop you from doing this, what you were doing, which was somewhat crooked. That's a scary thought right there. So keep that in mind when you're buying these things as investments right now. That when these things are struggling to make money, and think about the interest rate environment we're in. You can't get a better environment. Interest rates are basically zero for these things. They can borrow money so cheap, and they're still not making money here. 10 years ago, interest rates were this low. These banks would just be making money hand over fist. But obviously, right now it's just not the case. And if they're doing manipulating and doing stuff like this, it just the practices here. It's just scary, scary, scary,
Okay,
scary stuff.
just wanted to get back to the Big Ten here a little bit. You did get that seller taken out at 67 in J&J finally. Did you participate in that?
Yeah, no, I actually tried to short it a little bit right there around the 67. When it took it out, I got out. It did just tick above there. I can bring you up a day chart here. Did just tick above there, so it went basically had a lot of momentum. High frequency trader stalled it for maybe 10 minutes or so. It finally did take out that huge seller at 67. Got above it, found some resistance up in the 67.15, 67.20 area, and then pulled back down. I think it gets back up there, that area, probably finds some more resistance again. I mean, this thing just has institutional sell orders all over the place. There's another one probably up at 68 bucks. I've seen some action 67 and a half. I think this stock's it's had such a run. I think there's a lot of big boys saying this is a pretty good run here. You got other stocks similar but not the same, Procter and Gamble, which have been breaking down. This one has obviously performed quite well. So I think you got some institutions that are just saying, look, this is a stock that I can sell here. It's done pretty well, and I think that's why you're seeing these big boys putting out these sell orders.
Okay, speaking of PG, it did get a little bounce yesterday, got up to the $60 level, only trading down 4 cents in the pre-market. Perhaps for you longer term swing traders, have a reference point here at 59 as a place for a stop. But I also said that at 62, at 61, at 60. So I'd like to see a couple closes above 60 here in order to get some momentum going back in this stock. Just taking a look at the S&Ps here to close out the show. We just missed yesterday's high, which was 1328.50. I made a high at 1327.75. Interestingly, Dennis, Monday's high was right in that vicinity too, 1326.50. The close was right up there. So we have a very important area in the SPOOs in order to get any kind of rally going. I don't think we're going to get back up there today. As far as things going on the downside, we had a low at 15 and a quarter. Yesterday's Globex low was 12 and a quarter. So keep an eye on that. If that does not hold, I think we're going right back down to 1300.
I think we might see the 1300 level here again today too. Just too much bad news. Although, like I said, the market is so controlled by high frequency traders. If these European banks start catching a bid and start getting some of their gains back, I could see how this market could go flat. But keep those on your screen as indicators. If they start to break down again, I think we could see 1300.
Okay, that's our show for today, folks. We'll be back with you tomorrow.